What's up guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Monique, I'm a classical pianist, and the best part of being a pianist is to interpret the pieces, meaning to analyze them and finding an interpretation out of this analysis. Let's have a look at Chopin's Ballade number 3. I've just uploaded a work in progress with this piece and I've received a couple of comments about my pedaling. And that's not the first time. Like, a lot of people are always asking me why I'm using so less pedal. Sometimes it's really just a choice, and sometimes you can read it in the scores like that. And this is the case in this ballade. Even though it's maybe not as common to play it like that, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. Now, since this is the main part of my work, I wanted to share a couple of videos with you where I'm just showing little details that I'm discovering while I'm practicing every day. Because honestly, I'm right now having a lot of projects coming up. So first of all, I'm excited to come to Milano on the 19th of July. That's going to be soon, where I'm going to play all Chopin ballades as well as the Pathétique by Beethoven and some Debussy. Tickets and information, by the way, in the description box. And also, I can't go too much into detail for now, but I've just signed a contract with a big company that is creating an app, a music learning app with a lot of professional musicians, and they've asked me to create the Keys Academy with them. And right now, like, if I'm not practicing, I'm working on a concept to teach people on different levels, beginner, intermediate and pro level, how to learn piano, what they can improve at the piano, and like just give them a lot of different exercises. So these two things are like occupying my whole day, meaning unfortunately I don't have so much time to produce the videos right now. I'm very sorry for that, but I thought at least I'll share a little bit of my actual work therefore. By the way, since I'm creating this app, I wanted to ask you guys, what are the things that you want to learn? Of course, I have a lot of ideas through my teaching activities on my masterclasses of what I would like to bring to a lot of people, because I see a lot of common mistakes all the time. However, I also want to know, what do you guys actually want to learn? Like sight reading, memorizing, interpreting, analyzing, and so on, or fingering, my favorite topic. So let me know in the comments, what do you want to learn? I'm very excited to announce very soon which app this is going to be. I'll definitely keep you updated. Check out my Instagram, there you'll find all the updates as well. So today I wanted to share with you what I've discovered through my studies. Let's go. So we have this main theme that's coming back 3 times in this ballade, which sounds like that. Now, most of the time you would hear people playing it with much more pedal, like this. However, if we look closely into what is actually written in the scores, we'll discover a very different type of pedaling. And honestly, I sat there with a lot of question marks when I first saw that. So when we are analyzing a piece, we have to analyze a bunch of parameters. I won't go through everything today, but something that I think is very interesting is that if you look closely into the rhythm, actually the rhythm is not that interesting at first, because we are only playing 8th notes, and after 2 8th notes, there's an 8th rest. That's it, basically. Which, if you think about it, it's not that special. However, that rest being put on the counting time 2 is interrupting everything and creating kind of an own flow, which is giving the whole thing like this dancing character. And you can support this whole idea by seeing the legato slur being put over 2 notes, meaning Chopin really wanted to have this heavy, light, rest, heavy, light, rest, heavy, light, rest. And this is creating even more this kind of dancing feeling. So in my head, this is really kind of an introduction of a dance, and more people are coming together and dance there. And to create this dancing character, of course, there are a lot of different things that we have to pay attention to make it sing and to make it dance. And one thing, in my opinion, that's very important, that is contributing to this dancing feeling, is the rest. So rest or silence is like the most important thing in music, because this is the time in between the notes. This is where you can create relaxation or tension or both simultaneously. If you look closely, Chopin wrote no pedal for the measures 52 to 53. By the way, that's actually very interesting, because later when the theme comes again, he is writing a pedal. Now that's to me, not an accident that he didn't write it for the first time, but for the other 2 times he wrote it extra. And then also, as soon as you start to dance together with the left hand as well, we have a very special kind of pedaling. If you look closely, Chopin writes that you have to take the pedal off on the rest. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to push down the pedal to the ground all the time and just lift it suddenly. In my opinion, it's more a little bit like pushing down and immediately going up. So you're all the time kind of taking out the sound of the pedal, and it's not going to be too mushy, at least on the modern instrument. So if we take all these things into consideration, it will never sound like this whole pedal through round sound that most of the people are playing in this case. I think it sounds so much more interesting and so much more like a dance if you actually take off the pedal there. And yes, this is not easy, honestly. If you try to play it like that, you'll see that it's actually super complicated because it also gets a little bit against the beat, definitely going against what your first intuition is telling you to do. However, we find this so many times in the music that the composer is asking us to do something that's going against our intuition because this is creating this interesting effect. Let me know in the comments which of these versions do you prefer. I'm pretty sure that most of the people prefer the one that is using much more pedal, but that's also maybe because you're already used to hear it like that. So it's always a little bit difficult to get like an objective view in this, especially if you know the piece already before. However, that's the beauty of the art of creating new interpretations, and that's also a reason why I'm actually not listening to other recordings until I found my own interpretation. So yeah, here you go. This is why I'm using so less pedal. It's actually because it's written like that. Now this was, as I said, just a mini analysis. There's much more to discover in this piece and also in this part. So let me know what you want to know about the ballades, and if you hear something that's maybe special in my interpretation that you would like to understand better. Alright guys, this was the video for today. If you want to hear the full ballade, you'll find it up here. I'm very much looking forward to the concert in Milano on the 19th of July. Tickets and information you'll find in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to support my work, please check out my Patreon. You'll find the link in the description box, and we'll see us in the next videos. Bye.